The first episode of Young Royals sees our kids acquainted at the boarding school and preparing for the school year ahead. The focus is of course on Wilhelm and his change of scenery, but there's certainly an interesting group of characters alongside him too. Already you can tell Wilhelm and Simon are going to grow closer together. August and Nils are quite obviously the antagonists in all this, the bad influences, that believe they're better than everyone else. You also have Sarah and Felice too, with the angle of Felice caught up on Wilhelm and wanting to date him. It's a really interesting dynamic, and one that takes influence from shows like Get Even and Elite for its hierarchical setup. For now, the show bows out with a tantalizing glimpse of what's to come, after laying some good groundwork. Young Royals returns for a really solid episode, one that deepens the tie between Simon and Wilhelm. It's clear the pair have a great connection and do like each other, but Wilhelm is definitely conflicted over his feelings. It's a good dynamic the pair have too, one that's helped by a deeper understanding of August, Sarah and Felice's motivations. August in particular is a really fascinating character, and there's clearly more going on with him than we first thought. Dealing with loss and grief, he's clearly projecting himself into this alpha male position. This need for control and dominance is understandably linked to the pain he's feeling, but it also looks set to explode in a messy way with Wilhelm, given what we've seen so far. Either way, Young Royals has been a really solid teen drama, and the ending leaves the door wide open for more. Third episode of Young Royals. Well, that was unexpected. Eric's car accident causes ripples to pulsating throughout the show, with many question marks over exactly how Wilhelm is going to handle this going forward. Speaking of which, Wilhelm and Simon continue to grow closer together, with Wilhelm finally succumbing to how he's really feeling and embracing these emotions. It's a really beautiful story so far between the two, one that sees them navigating the difficult world of school in the midst of this. Interestingly, August's character gets a lot more development here too. Seeing him riding the coattails of his family name and actually being in over his head and struggling with money is a nice twist. It also helps to give his character a lot more depth than one may be expecting at first glance. Either way, the show has done a great job portraying these characters with enough depth and nuance to help them stand out. This twist at the end looks like it could have big consequences for the season ahead, but for now we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Fourth episode of Young Royals. Well, this was always going to end up in tears. The show has been teasing something dramatic like this for quite some time now, and unfortunately it's August who ends up seeing the pair together. Of course, there's nothing wrong with two people loving each other, but in this hierarchical world of royalty, I can imagine it's something that's quite taboo. This also means August holds all the cards when it comes to the blackmail we've been seeing in the past episodes too. Quite what the repercussions will be from this video remains to be seen, but it's not going to be pretty. One thing's for sure, the conflict is far from over, and it seems like these two are in for quite the rollercoaster ride in the episodes to come. Fifth episode of Young Royals starts to turn up the tension and drama here, as the episode hones in on August's choice. It's a particularly bitter pill to swallow for him because Wilhelm actually helped him out with his tuition, and this is how he repays him. Meanwhile, Simon and Wilhelm's relationship continues to hit roadblocks, this time in the form of a possible expulsion. Thankfully, Wilhelm does the right thing, but it's very clear now that this situation is going to end in tears. Given what we've found out about the leaked video, everything is set up nicely for this final episode, with lots of ensuing drama and bubbling issues that look set to spill over in dramatic fashion. The final and the last episode of Young Royals bows out with a pretty conclusive finale, but also one that leaves the prospects of a second season wide open. The show does also brush over a lot of its bigger dramatic elements, for a more subdued and straightforward chapter, where most of our plot threads are resolved by the end. The subject of being gay within the royal family is a nice angle, and one that's explored quite well over the show. Personally, it would have been nice to see Young Royals dive a little deeper into the royal affairs and actually see their reaction and cover up to all this, but the teen drama angle is what's kept this show going. Where it's been less successful, however, is with its subplots. The whole Sarah, Felice and August romance has been a weird inclusion to the show, and feels oddly out of sorts, compared to Simon and Wilhelm's romance at its core. Maybe it's a lack of chemistry or a lack of screen time. Either way, this has felt like filler and not contributed a whole lot to the show. However, as a simple but effective LGBTQ+ teen drama, Young Royals certainly does its job, delivering an enjoyable and pretty well written series in the process.